All right, guys, we are here with Uncle Ricky Von Cruz, and it is March the 3rd, 2025, and this is part of our follow-up because you know what? We forgot some things that we wanted to tell y'all, and so we're going to get into those right now. Ricky, thank you again, and we're going to get after it and dive right in. And one of the things that Ricky wanted to talk about that we didn't get to last time was, you know, living on the Chattahoochee River, we were prone for floods, and with the water rising off that river and the floods coming into the farmland and into our houses. So I'm gonna let Ricky kind of tell, because he was older than me a little bit and he got to really experience it a lot more than I did. I was very young. So what do you remember about the floods, Rick?
Okay, the first one that I remember was in 1975. I was about 15 years old, and that's the first experience I had. The water getting out all over the place, and we had to it actually was, we had lived in an old block house back then, and we had a porch on it, and the water started coming up. And my brother Tommy, he worked with International Paper Company, I believe, at the time, and he brought one of them old reefer trucks and backed it up out there, and we loaded Mom and Daddy's stuff out of the house onto it, and me and Daddy stayed there that night. I don't remember the day or time. I think it was in March, I believe it was. But anyway, me and Daddy stayed there, and we had an old truck it was the Old Gray Goose, and Daddy had a bunch of deer dogs and stuff, and we put the dog box in the back of it and backed it up on the little concrete porch that we had. And me and Daddy stayed the night, and we'd walk outside every now and then, and you could hear that old river just rising and rolling through the back of the field back there. And then the next one,
did that one in 75 actually get in the house?
No, it didn't get in the house, because it was a block house, and it was actually about 2 or 3 foot. It just got around. It covered, you know, a big area, but
covered some of the yard.
Oh yeah, quite a bit of the yard. But then we're moving on to the flood in 1990. I believe it got, by that time the block house had burnt, and then 90 come along, and that was what, 15 years after 75 or something. And anyway, but we and the house that Mom and Daddy built was kind of the foundation was on the, you know, pretty close to the ground.
Concrete slab.
Yeah, concrete slab. And then I think it got about 2 feet in the house, and at that time, and of course there was water everywhere then. And then moving on to the big flood. Now it got 4 foot in the same. It was in 94.
1994.
1994, and it got like I say 4 foot, and there was sheetrock in there. Had to go in and gut out the bottom 4 foot of the house and redo all of it. And there again, we knew the flood was coming, and so the rise in water. And so we
were able to get some of the furniture out.
Actually, I was working in Chipley, and it had rained, and me and my brother-in-law, Ed, Robert, Paulin, we come home and decided we needed to get us some U-Hauls to move out. And so me and him went back to, got somebody to carry us back to Chipley, and got me a U-Haul, he got a U-Haul, and come back, and it was just pouring down rain. And I pulled up, he went on to his house, Francis, across the road over there, and I come over here on mine. And Mama had passed away in 92, I'm sorry. And Daddy he'd come out of the house, and he'd come all the way out there to the barn. He looked at me, he said, "Son, what are you doing?" I said, "Daddy, we're fixing to move out get everything. I said, he said, well, come on in here. He said, I got some peas cooked and stuff, and let's eat something. I said, Daddy, I said, we ain't got time to eat right now. I said, I said, go in the house, you just get you some garbage bags and start throwing everything in it.
Now he's in his 80s around this time too.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
probably late 70s.
Yeah.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
But anyway, he said, Dunway, it ain't gonna do. I said, Daddy, I said, I've already got word that it's coming. It's gonna be a good one. So then I had some buddies and one of my classmates that I graduated with. They come by to see if they could help, and then some people around Pittman up there, they come down and help me with the heavy stuff, the old freezers, chest top freezers, and all the furniture. We had to load it up, and then we got that done, and it was about dark then, and I said, well, I reckon I need to go over there and see if I can help Francis and Ned, and I got over there, and she didn't have a damn thing on that freaking U-Haul. So here we go again.
There we go. You and Robert.
So we get over there and I said, Francis, just throw it in the you know. Well, I don't want it skinned and on in there. I said, wait, the hell with skinning it. I said, we got to get it out of here. And time we left, it was, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock. But up at Herman Majors is up there on 179 going toward the Highway 2. When I was going, and back of we was going through water on the highway.
Water didn't cross the highway.
Yeah, and I could feel that U-Haul. It was wanting to shift. I thought, we getting out here just in the right time.
Woo.
But that was, and that's probably not everything about the '94 flood, but
that was a good one.
You can kind of get an idea of what we went through with that big flood. And then
now after that flood was over and you had to come back in the house, you said that, of course, y'all, the Chattahoochee River is muddy.
Yeah.
And it is chocolate water whenever it's when it's flowing through there. But we had to cut off the sheetrock at whatever level the water went to because the sheetrock was ruined. Was there any mud in the house?
Yes, there was mud, but let me also thank the people that come and helped us remodel.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they was a good community, you know, response to, you know, coming back and helping us rebuild. But yes, they was old red Alabama clay on the concrete foundation that we had. I mean, it was a mess.
It was.
And I don't know that we have any pictures of
the inside
of the cleanup, but we had several friends and neighbors come help us, you know, put the house back together and livable.
Golly.
And forgive me if I forget anybody or anything, but anyway, and then we had actually 2 floods in 1998, and it actually just did wet the carpet. And you know, we moved out, and but we didn't have major damage on the 2 floods in 98, and that's one reason that I have relocated to Bonifay on higher ground.
Well, didn't the state of Florida came in and actually said, you know,
FEMA. Well, it was FEMA.
Yeah.
FEMA come in and bought a lot of the people out. And I only sold. I got to thinking. I said, I don't want to sell a whole bunch of land or whatever, or actually give it to them. They wasn't offering a big amount of money, you know, for the buyouts. But I got to thinking that there was Mr. Kathman. He was a surveyor. And I called him and asked him, I said, can you come over here and just survey out right where the house is sitting? That's, you know, I said, that's all I want to sell. So he did, and I presented that to the government, and they bought just where the
house.
Yeah. And but now, one reason that's a flood-prone area out there is that we're only about a half a mile east of the Choctawhatchee, the main channel. And when we get heavy rain like that, especially up around Elba and on up in Alabama, we get a lot of rain here, and then it's raining up there. It brings the Pea River and the Choctawhatchee River to, you know, flooding stage. And all of that water has to come down on us.
On the Gretna and Caryville.
Yeah,
on down.
yeah, right on down.
Mm.
And
so we had some tough times in those areas of the floods, and I'm sure there was floods before that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But
there's the 1929 flood, but that was Lord way back yonder. And they
Yeah.
said it was hellacious.
Yeah. Granny Gardis was probably about 14 or 15 years old then.
Yep.
But yeah, we were just kind of thinking about some of the things that went on that we didn't talk about on our first interview. And one of the things that I was telling Ricky about, because I lived with Granny and Granddaddy, as y'all know, and I was coming. I told Ricky one night, it was about midnight one night on like a Friday or Saturday night. And we'd been out partying, having a good time, and I was coming down. I think they called that the Charles Stevenson Road.
Yep.
The old dirt road.
Son Stevenson.
Son Stevenson Road. I was coming down that dirt road, and I was trying to get home before it was too late, and Granny was gonna get on to me. And I had about a 1982 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And I was coming through there running about 80, 85 down that dirt road.
And he killed one of the biggest bucks.
I come in there and I had hit a buck and just tore the front end off of that Grand Prix, and the buck landed off the edge into the edge of the woods. And I come in there and woke Ricky up, and I said, "Come on, I've done killed a deer."
Didn't you walk onto the house, which wasn't very far, half a mile, not even a quarter of a mile, wasn't very far.
Yeah, about a half
But
a mile.
didn't you walk onto the house and left the car there?
I walked to the house, left the car in the middle of that dirt road. I said, "Come on, I've killed a deer."
Woke me up.
Rick's like, "What the hell do you mean you killed a deer?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Come on, go with me." So he went down there with me, and we peeled out. I'm talking about one of the biggest 8-point bucks, y'all, in Holmes County. That thing was a stud. And I think we loaded him up and cleaned him the next morning.
Next morning, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, he was well known for getting me out of bed and come help me do this.
I mean, because Ricky was like a brother, so it wasn't like an uncle, it was a brother. And I remember one night too, I ain't gonna call no names, but we were down in, I don't even know, what do they call that area down there below?
Coon Bottom.
Coon Bottom.
Yep.
And I was off down there with a gal one night, and we was smooching and all that kind of stuff, and next thing I know, her boyfriend showed up, which I didn't know she had that boyfriend. And that's the truth. And he showed up down there, and he was ready to kill somebody. So I took off running out through the woods.
Here we go again.
Out through the woods. And the bad thing was, if y'all ever, any of you cruises down the road or listen to this, you fellas, boys, don't ever go anywhere with a gal without your car. Because I rode with her, and I didn't have a way to go. So I had to run, and I ran through the woods, did not know where I was at. And I happened up on this old house.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and knocked on the door, and this old man come to it. "Who is this? Who is this?"
Did he have his shotgun?
He had
with
a shotgun with him. "Who is this?" It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I told him, I said, "It's Scott Cruz." He said, "You ain't kin to L.D. Cruz?" I said, "Yes, sir, he's my granddaddy." And he opened up the door, and he said, "Well, come in here. What's going on?" I said, "There's a fella chasing me out through the woods."
And it was wintertime.
It was wintertime.
Cold.
I was barefooted because I left my shoes. And he told me, he said, "Get in here." And I got in there, and he said, "What?" I said, "Fella chasing me through the woods." And he called the feller's name, and he said, "Is that who it is?" I said, "I think that's who it is." And he said, "Well, it ain't the first time he's been chasing somebody through the woods down here over a girl." And I said, "Good gracious." So he let me make a phone call, and I called Rick. You remember that?
Yeah. There again. Uncle Rick,
Yeah.
come get me.
I said,
I said, "Where the hell are you at?" Coon Bottom, he said.
I'm at
Penn Curry.
Penn Curry.
Yep.
Penn Curry's
Yep.
house.
Penn was a good man for Holmes County. He sure was.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. And I was at Penn.
I went down there and got him, and good God Almighty. I don't know what happened to him after then.
You
but
carried me to my car, and I got in that car, and they ain't had to worry about me down in Coon Bottom anymore. But yeah, that was a good time. Now, the other thing that we
Can I interject right
yeah,
here?
go
Let's
ahead.
talk a little bit about fishing or something.
fishing,
Yeah,
fishing.
because
oh Lord,
Barney, my uncle,
William
William Barnes.
Gardis.
I think it's William Henry Barnes.
Gardis's
He's,
younger brother.
If he's 97, and October the 25th, he'll be 98. But anyway, him and his wife, Miss Annie, makes the best coleslaw of anybody around.
Mm.
And but me and him, they lived up here 8 or 10 years during the flood. Matter of fact, they moved back south because of the flooding. And but anyway, me and him got fishing stories, and hopefully he'll when you talk to him or something or another, he can confirm my but back when the river would get up, and over there in the middle of the field, me and him would go over there and stretch nets across.
Fishing nets.
Yeah, fishing nets, gill nets.
Gill net.
And we'd go over and check them the next day, and they'd be big old carp in there, and he'd take his old hammer or whatever, and he'd knock them in the head, and we'd have blood all over us, and we'd also go in there to just north of Powell Lake, and there it's better known as the basket set.
Mm.
And we'd have Daddy'd make baskets, and then I got where I could make them pretty good too. And that was back before water management took over that. But anyway, we'd go in there and set baskets, and when you go back and check them the next morning, you could pick it up, and you'd have 8 or 10 big old red breast and crappie and bass.
Right.
And just I enjoyed it when he was up here. And I was known to get into the laudlum some, back then, and me and him had a good time. He didn't drink much laudlum, but we would get out and possum hunt. We'd ride around the peanuts. The farmers had peanuts out there then, and we'd ride around the field at night, shining and drinking, and I'd stop the truck, and I'd get out and run and catch that old possum, and Barney just sitting in the vehicle, just rolling and cackling and enjoying himself in Northwest Florida. But yeah, that was some of I really cherished the times that I got to spend with him while he was up here. And I talk to him every so often, so he's doing good.
Well, we're going to be interviewing him on Thursday. Today's Monday, and I'm going down there. Me and Cindy,
okay.
we're going to interview him Thursday. So
good.
We'll have an interview with William. What do you call him?
William Henry Barnes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So with all that, we were going to get into. What was the other subject we were going to talk about? See, I done forgot now.
Was it that?
Oh, yeah. So we talked a little bit about Ricky and his politicking days back in the time. He was county commissioner, and he got into it a little bit with that. Did that a couple of times. And then, but here we are in March of 2025, and he's back in damn politics, y'all.
Still
He's
in
back,
politics.
but still in it. What's going on now?
Well, back in October of 22, we had a councilman here in the city of Bonifay resigned, and some of the city fathers and ladies, city ladies, come to me and asked me did I want to be a city councilman, and I thought about it, and I said, sure, let's try it. So this was October of 22, and at the time they have elections every March to switch out 2 councilmen, and then the next year be 2 councilmen and a mayor. So they appointed me to the council, and I said, well, I got 6 months to decide whether I wanted it or not. So come March, I chose not to run, and so they elected three ladies and 2 men, and so after that, come August of 2023, one of the ladies that got elected, she took a full-time position with the city, and then they thought, well, you reckon old Cruz would want to try it again? So they come to me, the ladies did, and so I took the council seat 4. The first one was council seat 3, and then the council seat I'm on now is council seat 4. But I've been there. Well, I had to run this past March of 24, and I put my name on the ballot, and nobody opposed me. So I've been city councilman seat 4 for the city of Bonneville.
Yeah,
and enjoying the dickens out of
that's
it. There's some trying times, but we're looking forward to the good times that's coming to the city of Bonneville.
Yeah, cause y'all finally we got a Circle K on the corner over here, Highway 90 and 79.
Yep.
And got some more good stuff coming.
Yep, we're supposed to be looking at a Busy Bee coming in south of the interstate on the west side down there, and then Lord knows it. We've got a good council now,
Oh,
and
good.
I'm proud of it.
Good.
Proud to be a part of it.
Well, good deal. And I got 2 other things I wanted to bring up that we had talked about, and number 1 was Gardis, Granny Cruz, your mama, and that was some of the other brothers and sisters talked about some of their favorite food that she cooked. And did you have any favorites that she cooked?
Yep, back in the day, she made some awesome chicken and dumplings, and had an old chicken coop out behind the house, and she it'd be on a Sunday morning or whatever that she'd say, Ricky, go out there and catch me that old fat hen, and she'd go out there with me. That's the one I want. So if I'd get in there and catch her, and I'd hand her to her, and Mama would take that chicken hen or the hen by the neck, and she'd give it one good jerk and throw it down, and that old hen just flopping around out there with a broke neck. And then she'd go over and get it. She had a sharp knife. She'd slit it and let it bleed out, and then she'd take it and clean it, scald it and pick the feathers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'd go in there and she'd roll up her dough and stuff. She'd go ahead and get the pot of fat and stuff boiling on the stove, and she'd get her water dough, and she'd take that old rolling pin and roll it out. Dumplings, I'm talking about small dumplings.
Thin dumplings.
Yeah. You can't find them this day and time.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, yeah, she'd roll them out, and then she'd take her knife and she'd cut them in strips, and little pieces like that, and then she'd take them, drop them one at a time in that hot water, and that lard off that chicken, it was yeller.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we need to do another segment, because I know you can cook them.
well, she
know.
taught me how to
She
cook.
taught
I
you how
can
to
cook
cook.
peas and beans and corn. I can fix you a meal.
We might have
Matter
to
of
come.
fact, your daddy said I quit cooking. He said you don't ever cook anymore, because I'd fix a grill a steak or something other, and I'd have some field peas, and cause I still buy them and put them in the freezer, and stuff like that. But,
Yeah, so maybe
I
on
was
one of these,
told that I can cook.
yeah, maybe one of these next segments we'll come in here and we'll film a cooking with Rick segment over here. And now the other thing that I was gonna check on you with, unless you got, did you think anything else you want?
I'm good right now. I
Okay.
think.
Is that you got a nephew that lives directly across the street from you in
I
Bonifay.
dang sure do. His name is Hunter Cruz, And he used to come see me every now and then, and
Yeah.
I'd pull in the driveway and he'd bail me. I said, "Where you want to go?" He said, "Well, I want to go down there to Family Dollar." I said, "Well, get in, let's go." I said, "What you want to go on?" I had a Jeep at the time, and I said, "You want to go on the Jeep or the truck?" And he said, "Let's go on the Jeep." The next time it'd be the truck. Anyway, so I'd load him up and carry him down there to Family Dollar, and he'd go in there, and I don't know, spend what kind of money, but he'd come back out with a bag or two in his hand, and I'd bring him on back to the house, drop him off over there. And here a while back, the Family Dollar shut.
Because I had said, you know, because there was Kevin and Tommy's son Cage and me were I think the only last 3 Cruz males that there were in that cousin range.
And I'm too old to even think about stuff
Yeah,
like that.
you ain't gonna be worried about that. But anyway, but I had said that my son Heath was the last one that, you know, I last hope I had to carry on Cruz name under me, but that ain't right, because the firstborn under there was this Hunter T. Cruz, and he lived across the street from you. And I didn't even think, just totally didn't even think about saying Hunter's name. So I was telling him I apologize, because yeah, he is the firstborn of mine, and and the crazy thing, Rick, is today is Hunter T's birthday on March the 3rd.
Yeah.
He is 29 years old. Look,
last year of his 20s.
I want y'all to look who's sitting here in the house today. We got Hunter T. Hunt, what's up, Big Daddy?
What's up?
Ain't much to it, is there? We over here on your birthday, rocking and rolling. You 29, right?
Yep.
29. So we still got hope, y'all. We still got hope that Hunt or Heath is gonna carry on the Cruz name and start procreating here on this earth. Hunt, you gonna do me some good?
Try to.
All right, you got to get out there and get your girlfriend. Get at it.
Yep.
All right, boy. So anyway, we appreciate that, and we had a good time with Uncle Rick today, talking about a few things that we didn't get to talk about on the first one. And hey, we may come back down here and do a cooking session here with Rick and see if he can roll out some of those dumplings that Granny Cruz used to make. But if he can make some bread pudding that she used to make, then he gonna be on the #1 list.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
All right, y'all. Well, Rick, thank you. Hunt, happy
Thank you.
birthday to you, boy. Look over there, y'all. Tell Hunt happy birthday. Happy birthday. Get him done, baby. All right, we enjoyed it, and y'all stay tuned, because we got a couple more outtakes we got to do. We got Francis and Hewlin, and I think we got Tommy, and I think we even gonna get old brother-in-law Daryl Evans in on this.
Watch
A
out.
little bit. Get old Codger in here. So y'all stay tuned, and we'll get back with you on another segment here soon. Down home on the Chattahoochee.
Love y'all.
Y'all be safe.